Hello, Carol.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Were you also in the previous class? I didn't see you there.
Teacher, I try, but it's not possible. I sent you email asking if you will have classes.
Yes, I also had problems getting in, understand? It took
Okay.
me more than 20 minutes. I don't know why. I would start the
Mm,
class and nobody was there. So I called our IT guy,
mm.
asking him to check. He checked. He said, no, there are people here waiting. But I would go in again and there was nobody. Understand? So I don't know
Really?
what, yes, I don't know what was happening. It took me more than 20 minutes
Yes,
to,
I waiting for 15 minutes, and after
yes,
that, I received a message said that the classes was canceled. The link
no,
was canceled. Yeah, I don't know.
yes, I don't know what happened either. So
Yeah.
it must be something with Zoom because I was asked to upgrade my version. So I don't know if the links after the upgrade were not good because they sent me new links. Understand? So
Mm,
now I'm using a new link. I think after
okay.
the upgrade, okay, the links
Yeah.
changed, something like
So,
that.
so we don't have classes, the intermediate classes. So,
We had, yes, I was very late,
oh,
but there were like 90 people waiting.
okay, understood, understood.
Yes, so I just gave them the class, okay? And
Okay,
we almost finished, okay? We are going to
okay,
finish tomorrow. We talked
okay.
about the lifting off of the lockdown in Europe, okay?
Yes, I saw the text.
Material.
The material. I will read it for tomorrow.
Okay, good. Hello,
Okay.
Marcus. How are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm fine, and you? Hello, Carol.
Uh,
Hi,
I'm all
Marcos.
right.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Fine.
Good to
Good,
hear.
good. So, as promised, I spoke to our CEO on Saturday, and we have extended the classes again until the end of this month, just to see what's going to happen. So, we are going to
Yes.
have regular classes for 2 more weeks, for sure.
Uh,
Okay. And then after that, I'll talk to him again. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, teacher. I am so happy.
I'm glad I can help you in a certain way. All right.
Very good.
Teacher.
Okay. Let me share my screen and we'll start talking about our class. At this class, we're not going to talk about Europe. We are going to talk about Brazil.
Mm, I'm
Okay.
afraid.
First of all, I don't want to talk about politics, right? That
Nice.
is the most important because there are two things I don't like talking about in my classes: religion, politics, okay?
Yeah.
That's the most important. And I also avoid, of course, talking about sex, okay?
Okay.
So, but this is not supposed to be a political article. It's just supposed to talk about our reality,
Yeah.
okay? So I don't have any preference. I'm totally neutral in terms of politics, okay? So I'm just presenting you what CNN has brought today. You see, was updated at 12:49, okay, on May
Mhm.
18th, 2020. So I got it at lunchtime. It's just came out as CNN, okay? So
Okay.
we have here the headlines, as they say, is as hospitals in Brazil teeter on the brink of collapse, Bolsonaro does push-ups with supporters. This is the headline. It was written by three guys, Rob Pichera, Vasco Cotovio, and Shasta Darlington from CNN. So before going into the real article, I separated some words that I thought would be important for you to learn. So when you read the article, your comprehension will be better, okay?
Okay.
So the first one was right here, teeter on the brink. It's an idiom. Carol, can you read the definition of this idiom?
Yes. Teeter on the brink of something. To be
Yes.
very close to doing something or of having some imminent
Imminent. imminent event happen.
Especially one which is bad or disastrous. The company is still doing business, but ever since the recession hit, they have been
Teetering
teetering on the brink of closing down.
Okay, that means they are at the extreme limit, you know, that is the idea. Okay, they are very close to coming to an end, to bankrupt. Okay,
Okay.
as hospitals in Brazil are in a situation like this, the intensive care units, in English they say ICU units, are close to a maximum capacity. So that's why they say, as hospitals in Brazil teeter on the brink of collapse, because if the occupants gets to 100, that's total collapse. Understand? Because if they occupy the intensive care units with people that are infected by the virus, there will be no space left for people that have had a heart attack or a stroke or any other medical condition, or people that have car accident, for example. Where are you going to put them?
Teacher, I will change the computer, okay?
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Bye, Carol. See ya.
Okay, Max, understand this?
Yes, understood.
Good. Can you read the next few expressions, please? On the verge.
On the verge of doing something, of your of having some imminent event happen, especially that which is a bad or disastrous.
Disastrous. Yes. This is exactly the meaning only for verge. When I say teeter on the brink, it's practically at the verge. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there is two more words for you to read there, Max. Wavering.
Wavering means moving in a certain direction.
Okay. Soaring.
Soaring means rising high.
Okay. And the next one, nonetheless.
Nonetheless, is the same of in spite of or nevertheless. Used to introduce a contrasting idea.
Very good. Any problem about this, Max? All these words are going to appear in the article. That's why I decided to discuss them before reading the article. Okay?
Is nonetheless the
Nonetheless, exactly. Nonetheless is the same of in spite of or nevertheless.
Never.
All of them are used to introduce a contrasting idea. Understand?
Okay, yes.
Well, teacher,
Yes, Carol.
it's not clear to me the first, the teeter on the brink.
Okay.
It's not clear the concept to me, the meaning.
Okay. Take a look here. I don't know if you heard me trying to explain this. As hospitals in Brazil teeter on the brink of collapse. Imagine that. Think about the situation of hospitals, especially in São Paulo. Occupants, according to what I read today, of the intensive care units is like 95%.
Okay.
If it gets to 100, the system will collapse.
Okay.
So as the hospitals in Brazil approach, they come very close to the edge of the collapse, understand? Because it's going up and here, that total collapse. So the idea of teeter is they are very close to.
Okay, understood.
To come to a collapse, a full collapse, understand? Because
Yes.
as I was telling Marcos, I don't know if you had already left. Imagine if the occupants of the intensive care units get close to 100%, what are you going to do with patients that have, for example, a heart attack or a stroke, understand? That go into the hospital and they need to go immediately taken to the intensive care unit, but there is no space, so they'll die. Okay. So they did not die of the COVID-19, but they died of other things. People, yes, people with car accidents, you know?
Yeah.
They are like operated or they go under surgery like in an emergency way, and then they have to be taken, or they have to stay for a couple of days or sometimes a week or more in the intensive care unit, ICU, okay? But if it's already occupied, you don't have what to do. That's total collapse of the system, okay?
Okay, understood. Thank
Teacher,
you.
I didn't understand the idea of the second part of the phrase. Bolsonaro push-ups with this
Does
does
push-ups.
push-ups.
Yes.
I don't know what it means.
Okay. We can write it like this, or we can even write it with a hyphen, like push-ups.
Is that the kind of exercise that you do?
Yes, you lie flat on the floor, and using your hands, you just push yourself up. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
The CNN even posted a photograph of Bolsonaro doing push-ups. You see here?
Oh my gosh, okay.
I thought it was an expression, but it's the real meaning is this.
Is the real meaning. Yes. In the middle of a pandemic, like it's going on now, he was doing push-ups, okay, with some supporters, okay?
Oh my gosh. I didn't see this. I didn't know this.
Yeah, this happened yesterday.
I see.
It's quite recent, okay? So that's the idea. The hospitals are very close to coming to a collapse. Hello, Wagner. How are you, man?
Hi, teacher. I'm good. I'm sorry I'm late. I lost
No
the
problem.
time. I forget
Okay.
to set my alarm clock.
It's very easy to lose track of time when we are very busy, right? This is what irony is, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good evening, all.
Yes. Carol, Marcos, Wagner saying good evening, you all.
Good evening. Sorry, Wagner.
Okay.
No problem.
Sorry.
How are you?
Okay, let's see the next words that I thought would be important for you, okay, to understand. Oh, observe that this word here, let me fix, okay. Many people confuse with review. This has nothing to do with the verb to review. To review means to present, to show something, understand? Like the opening of the Pandora box revealed the word a lot of secrets, revealed. But here we have to revel, okay? To revel means to enjoy oneself in a very loudly and lively manner. I'm sorry, there was a mistake here, okay? To enjoy oneself in a very loudly and lively manner, in a very lively way, okay? Later, you're going to see this word in a context, so maybe you get a clear picture, okay? So the only thing is not to confuse. To revel, pronunciation is revel, with review, okay? All right?
Okay. Yes.
So, Carol, can you read the next 3 words that are in bold here, please? Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed means to bury or drown under a huge mass. To be huge mass. To be defeated completely, or even to give in too much of a thing to someone.
Yes, this is a very common expression in English, like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, okay? I don't know if you have ever heard this, but it's very common. But overwhelmed also means to be buried or drowned under a huge mass, when you are totally covered by a huge mass, or to be defeated completely, or even to give too much of a thing to someone. For instance, you come to my house for dinner and I offer you very good quality food, very good quality drinks. And then I ask you, are you enjoying? Oh, I'm totally overwhelmed. Understand? That means because I'm giving you a lot of attention, too much, okay? I'm overwhelmed. All right? Now, Any other question about this or no? Can we go on?
Yes.
Yes.
What is strikingly, Carol?
Struggling means in a way that attracts attention by reason of being unusual, extreme, or prominent.
Prominent. Okay. Okay. Wagner, can you read the last two, please? To ravage?
Yes. To ravage means to cause severe and extensive damage to.
Okay.
And dire means of a situation or event extremely serious or urgent.
Urgent. Okay. Good. These are the words that I set apart. Of course, you can have more questions. I don't mind answering, but these are the ones that I thought would be new words or new vocabulary for you. So I decided to discuss them before going into the article itself. Okay?
Okay.
So now we can start. This is from today, from CNN again at 12:49. So it's a very updated news, okay? And as we have seen before, the headlines was this: as hospitals in Brazil teeter on the brink of collapse, that means are almost at the point of collapsing, Bolsonaro does push-ups with supporters, okay? So let's read this and see what we have. Now maybe it will be easier reading for you all. Wagner, can you read the first paragraph, please?
Yes. São Paulo, Brazil, CNN. The healthcare system in Brazil's largest city is wavering on the brink of collapse and coronavirus death. Throughout, the South American nations are soaring. Sorry, I never told you. But the President
The
Jair
man is inspired
Bolsonaro,
today, eh? I think he had a nice weekend. You see? That's why I don't like talking about sex in my class. You see? This is what happens when you have a very nice weekend. You get all inspired, okay? I don't want to go into details. Please save us. Go on.
thank you, I appreciate. But President Jair Bolsonaro, nonetheless revealed in crowds of...
That is exactly what I told everyone. Do not confuse reveled with reviewed.
Oh.
Reviewed is to expose, to show, to, you know, but here's reveled. In crowds.
Reveled in crowds of supporters on Sunday, joining yet another anti-lockdown protest in Brasília. With Brazil still approaching its peak of cases, São Paulo's mayor warned that the health system could be overwhelmed very soon if residents don't follow social distance guidelines.
Okay. So, is there any problem about this? You see, the words that probably are the new ones I already introduced before, okay? Like the health system, care system in Brazil's largest city, that's São Paulo, is wavering. That means it's moving towards the edge of a collapse, you know, and coronavirus death throughout the Southern American nation, that is exclusively Brazil, are soaring. But President Jair Bolsonaro, that is the contrasting. Nonetheless, okay, in spite of these, reveled in crowds of supporters on Sunday, joining yet another if you ever listen, I've also listened, okay? I've heard both. I say anti-lockdown protest in Brazil. Okay. With Brazil still approaching its peak of cases. That means we have not even got to the peak of cases. São Paulo's mayor, I think it's Covas, Bruno Covas, yes? Warned that the health system could be overwhelmed. Understand the idea? Overwhelmed very soon if residents don't follow social distancing guidelines. Is there any other word or expression that you're not familiar with?
No, teacher.
Yes, Carol.
Oh, sorry, Wagner. Let me ask something. Overwhelmed. Can I use this word in with work? I'm overwhelmed to this work in this sense.
Overwhelmed with the load of work I got. Yes, you are buried. Yes, you're buried. The idea, it has several different meanings. It can be one bad, it can be one very good. You know, like imagine a situation in which your husband brings you flowers, chocolate, you know, says 1,000 times, I love you, darling. I can't live without you. Then you say, oh, you're making me totally overwhelmed. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
understood.
that is a good meaning for overwhelmed, understand? But it can also be a bad one. You can be overwhelmed with many things. Workload. Here is the system will be overwhelmed with the case.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Any other problem, Marcus, Wagner?
I have one. Once I am late about nonetheless.
Okay. You don't understand this word? You have never seen this word? What is the problem?
Yes, I have never seen this word.
Have you ever seen the word in spite of?
Yes.
It's exactly the same of in spite of. The only difference is the position. I would probably use, instead of but, I would say, in spite of these, President Jair Bolsonaro reveled in crowd. Or I start with, but President Jair Bolsonaro nonetheless reveled. That means, in spite of this situation, he joined with great fun and very lively, very loud activities, the protests in Brasilia, okay? So this is exactly the same of nevertheless, in spite of, and in other situations, I could also use even though, okay? They are all the same. They are used to introduce a contrasting idea. That means, in contrast to the situation in Brazil, the president, okay, just reveled in crowds, okay? Like, hey, hello, everyone, okay, everything is good, okay? Something like this. He did push-ups, exercises with supporters, as we can see in the picture below, okay?
Okay.
Marcus, can you read the second paragraph, please? The city.
Okay. The city is coming to the limit of options. Bruno Covas told the journalist Sunday. Warning. Oh, sorry, my cell phone started to say something here. Sorry.
That has happened to me, so I perfectly understand, okay? Sometimes I get a little excited. I say something louder, and Google says, well, your search has ended. Here's what I have found for you. And I feel like killing Google because the bastard is, you know, eavesdropping in my conversation, okay?
It was exactly like this. Sorry.
Yes, I understand that. So go ahead.
Bruno Covas told the journalist Sunday, warning that 9 in 10 intensive care beds were full. We need to decide if we want to test the limits or if we will be prudent and firmly maintain social isolation for the time needed so that the health system doesn't collapse. We are closer than we would like.
You see, this is the situation in São Paulo. 9 in 10 beds are already occupied. That is really pushing to the limit, understand? As I told you, if there is a major accident in São Paulo of any kind, fire, big traffic accident involving like buses, or I don't know, even like a train accident with many injured people, the system will be really collapsed, understand? Because if you are already using 9 in every 10 intensive care beds, that means you have only one bed left for all the other emergencies, okay? That is a very bad situation, really bad, okay? In Europe, for instance, Italy, they never even worked with more than 85%. So here we are close to 95, okay? 10% more, okay? So Wagner, what's the next part? You see, that's the use of strikingly different message.
But there was a strikingly different message on display outside the president's offices in Brasilia, where Bolsonaro appearing among crowds protesting the country's lockdown measures on Sunday.
Okay. Any problem about this or no?
The only problem is our president.
I am, as I said at the beginning, probably a little bit before you came into class, that I really don't want to talk about politics. That gets me really, okay? So I wanted to focus on new vocabulary and English, okay? President is another matter. Carol, the populist leader.
The populist leader who has frequently dismissed dismissed the threat posed by COVID-19, even as
Carol,
it began.
You have just created a new virus.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, Carol, please.
It's already difficult for us to fight with the 19.
I am look to the future. I am look to the future.
Carol,
sorry.
Please, this is not a good future for anyone.
Yes, I hope they come up with a vaccine before that, okay?
Oh my gosh. Sorry. Even as it began to ravage his own nation. Disregarded social distancing guidelines to pose with supporters. His appearance at such rallies have become a release.
Yeah, it's the plural of a rally. Okay.
Rallies. Okay.
Rally. Okay, that's
rally. Okay, rallies have become a regular phenomenon. I don't know what it means, rally.
Yes, you know.
Me neither.
Rally Dakar.
Yes, you know.
Rally Paris Dakar.
Paris Dakar rally, you know.
Yes.
But what is rally in this case? It's a political event when you invite people to go there and you make your, let's say, your presentation, you talk to people. That's a political rally, okay? Every time you gather people in one place to talk about, for instance, can be your ideas for the government if you get elected, understand? That's called a political rally, the pluralist rallies, okay? His appearance as such rallies have become a regular phenomenon, okay? Just one word here, Carol. Here is a threat. A threat. Okay? A threat. The pronunciation is threat. Posted by COVID-19. Okay? Any other question about this part? Marcos, Wagner, Carol, or no?
No.
No.
I forgot to ravage.
Okay.
I know that you explained, but I already forgot.
To cause severe and extensive damage to.
Okay.
So let's go back there and try to find it. You see, the populist leader who has frequently dismissed, that means ignored the threat posed by COVID-19, even as it began to ravage, to destroy his own nation, disregarded, that means, again, ignored, dismissed, disregarded social distance guidelines to pose, to take selfies with supporters, okay? His appearance at such rallies have become a regular phenomenon. I read today that in the last 60 days, okay, that we are in a kind of quarantine, 60 days, he has organized rallies 62 times. That means more than one rally per day, okay?
Oh my gosh.
So you can see that he's totally disregarding or dismissing all the social guidelines, understand? Distancing guidelines.
Tá
Okay.
muito deprimidinho.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, teacher. I was talking with my husband.
Okay. Yes, maybe our president is also depressed. Okay, that's why he's going out so much.
Yes.
Maybe that would explain why he's organizing and calling for so many different rallies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Wagner, can you read the next part? At another engagement.
Yes. At another engagement with a group of men in military outfits, he dropped to the ground to do push-ups. Above all, people want freedom. They want democracy. They want respect, he said in a video posted online.
Okay. As I told you, push-ups can be separated with an hyphen or can be together. It's the same, okay? Any question about this? Marcos, Carol, Wagner, or no?
No.
No.
Okay. Let's go back to Carol then. That's a photograph of our dear president doing push-ups with a group of people, supporters, and military officers, okay?
Yes.
Today?
Dyer's yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Brazil is one of the few large countries in the world where daily cases and death rates are still ascending.
Yes. The country?
The country has overtaken Spain and Italy to recover the fourth most. No.
Record, not.
Record the fourth most COVID-19 cases anywhere.
Thank you, Carol.
Anywhere in the world, according to Johns Hopkins University, even though its outbreak is at a far earlier stage than countries in Europe or Asia. Its death toll has meanwhile topped 6,000. 16,000.
Don't kill more people yet, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, any problem about this part or no?
Just the meaning of death toll. I know what it means, toll.
The number of dead people.
Oh, just this?
Yes, the death toll, okay? Toll is also used to refer to those places on Dutra. There are 5 tolls between São Paulo and Rio where you have to stop your car and pay.
This means I know.
But when I say the death toll, I refer to the number of dead people that died as consequence, okay? So dire scenes, you see the word dire that I introduced it here? Dire, okay? An extremely serious or urgent. That means the situation in São Paulo is extremely serious or urgent, okay? Now, Marcos, can you read the next part, please? The city has...
Is not the virus?
No, it's one before. The virus has dealt
a blow.
Yes.
The virus has dealt a blow to São Paulo, home to 12 million people, whose hospitals are suffering a fate previously seen in similar hit cities like Madrid, Lombardy, and New York. Lombardy and New York.
Okay. The city has
38,605 confirmed cases, around a sixth of the total confirmed cases in Brazil, and has reported a significant proportion of the country's deaths.
Okay. Any problem about this part or no?
Dealt, the first phrase of the...
Dealt is the past participle of the verb to deal. That means the virus has put São Paulo, okay, has dealt a blow. That means it has taken São Paulo home to 12 million, a place where hospitals are suffering a fate previously seen in similarly hard cities like Madrid, Lombardy, and New York. okay? That means the fate of São Paulo is very serious, okay? The situation there is terrible, okay?
Okay.
Wagner, can you please read the next paragraph here, this part here? In March,
Yes. In March, when São Paulo City and state declared quarantine, more than 6% of residents sheltered at home and the spread of the virus slowed. But in the last few weeks, the share of residents respecting the quarantine has fallen below 50%, and the numbers have started to quickly rise.
can you read the next one just to finish this part?
Yes, staying in isolation has begun particularly difficult
Difficult.
difficult for the city's poorest residents, many of whom live in tightly packed favelas, slum, or shanty houses, and who are forced to go to work in order to maintain an income.
Okay. You see, the parenthesis here was my idea. It was interesting to observe the word favelas in English, understand? But
Mhm.
I am quite sure that many CNN readers don't understand what is favelas, okay? I know, I've heard some people even asking me about the favelas in the USA, Canada, in England, but it's not common for everyone, okay? So in English, the words for favela is slums or slum houses or shanty houses or even shanty cities. Like in Rio, you have entire cities, communities that are shanty. Shanty means houses made with very second, third hand material. Understand? Plastic, everything they can find, they use to build a house. It's a shanty house. Any other question in addition to this or no?
No.
No question. Marcos, Wagner,
No.
Carol already said no?
No, no.
No.
Okay,
Just
Carol.
about favelas, I believe it's difficult for them to understand because they don't have there, you know.
Yes, in fact, they have very poor areas, but not like the ones we have in Brazil. But
Yes.
it was interesting to observe the use of favelas because I remember many years ago, there was a movie that won several Oscars, okay? And the director of the movie decided to keep its name as Dangerous Liaisons, okay? Dangerous Liaison. It was very interesting because the movie was a total failure in the United States. And since it had won many Oscars, they expected the movie to be a very, very successful, you know, at the theater boxes. But what happened was the opposite, okay? And then they decided to check why it wasn't as successful as they expected. Because most of the Americans could not understand the use of the word liaisons, which is French. Understand? So they thought, I'm not going to watch this movie. Dangerous Liaisons. I don't even know what the fuck is that. Okay, so I'm not going to watch it. Okay, and the movie was a total failure in the United States. In Brazil, it was kind of successful because they translated the name and Brazilians like it. Okay, I don't know if you remember. Huh?
What do liaisons means?
It's like connections, dangerous connections. Okay, a liaison is also let's say a French term which means representative of one government or one company that goes to another company or another country, and he speaks on behalf of his company. He's a liaison, okay? Like every time there is a war, you always have a general who is the liaison, who talks to the public, who brings the news, okay? But this was a total failure in the United States. They ended up even losing money. But the name in Brazil was Ligações Perigosas. It was a good movie, okay? I have seen this movie. It was really good. But the name did not attract any people because they couldn't understand. So that's why I was kind of skeptical about using favelas. I'm not sure because they didn't even include this here, okay? Slums or shanty house. I did that, understand? So I don't know if people are fully able to understand, okay? Okay, any other question about this part or no? Can we move on?
Ô, Jé, pega para mim o carregador, por favor.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, Carol, it's your turn again. Can you read this part?
Yes. Bolsonaro has pressed ahead with his anti-lockdown rhetoric, even as cases skyrocket. He has repeatedly dismissed COVID-19 as a little flu and urged businesses to reopen, even as many governors scramble to implement social isolation measures and slow the spread.
Okay, isolation.
Isolation.
Okay.
I have a question. What is
Yes, Max.
skyrocket?
Went all the way up to skyrocket, you know? If something skyrockets, it soars, it goes very high, understand? Not to repeat the word soaring again, the guy used it skyrocket, okay? Even as cases skyrocket, that means increase it a lot, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Another question or no?
No.
Marcos, on Sunday?
On Sunday, he attended another
rally. You see, now it's in the singular.
Yes, rally against lockdown measures, which have become a regular opportunity for his supporters to gather en masse and catch a glimpse of the populist leader.
Okay, finish this part. The president stood before
a crowd with several members of his team, wearing a face mask but raising the hands of those around him into the air.
Okay, understand what happened? Understand what they're saying here?
Like a high five?
Yes, but he actually held and raised the hands of some of his supporters, touching the people. Understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the problem of these is exactly the touching and the proximity. Okay?
Yes.
Another question or no?
Yes. What it means, glimpse?
A look.
Glimpse.
Take a look. Yes,
Okay.
Okay. They gather, that means they came together in mass. That's also an important expression. And catch a glimpse. That means to take a look at the populist leader. Everyone wanted to take a photograph, okay, near the president. That's the photograph here, okay? At this point, he held the arms of several of the supporters, okay? That's why the people were saying, whoops. Now, who is now? Marcos or Wagner? Wagner?
I think it's another one. I read the last one.
Yeah,
so Wagner, can you read, who is it now, Wagner or Carol?
Yes.
Wagner.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
He later ventured towards the protesters, posing for pictures and holding children aloft in the air. A clear violation of social distancing guidelines that officials in São Paulo are calling on people to follow. Shortly after the rally, Bolsonaro welcomed a group of men wearing military outfits at the presidential palace. The men said they were paratroopers from the army who wanted to show support for the president.
Okay, good. Any question about this part?
Paratroopers.
Those guys that jump from an airplane wearing a parachute, they're called
Yeah.
paratroopers. Okay?
Mm.
The
I
guys
know.
there. Yes, Wagner.
I know stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers.
Yes.
That's a movie, isn't it?
You don't know stormtrooper?
Yeah, I think it's a movie. No?
No, no. It's a trooper from Star Wars, the
Yeah,
white
but it's
one.
part. Yeah, but it's part of the movie. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yes, yes. You see, these were the paratroopers, parachuters, or paratroopers. Okay, here in the photograph, dressed in military outfits. Okay. Okay. All right. Cut off the group.
Yeah. The group said a prayer for Brazil, at one point shouting, Bolsonaro is us.
Let me interrupt you there for a moment. Okay? The group said a prayer.
A prayer.
Okay?
A prayer.
Is, remember, just like Wagner also had a nice weekend. Okay? So, the moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I pray for you.
Forever and ever. Stay in my heart. We love you together forever. It's never apart.
Oh my gosh. The voice.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's good to have a nice weekend, isn't it, Wagner? Okay.
Yes. But I just know this music because I used to sing at weddings some years ago.
Yeah, this was a very popular song.
Yes.
Came to the movie My Best Friend's Wedding. Okay. I'll say a little prayer for you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The group said like a prayer. Madonna also has a song. Okay.
Yes.
Like a little prayer. Oh, la, na, na.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
very musical.
I can be ancient, but I know a lot of old musics, not the new one.
Very good.
Yeah, I know all the Jurassic hits. Okay.
Great.
So, said a prayer for Brazil. Bolsonaro is us.
They also did several rounds of push-ups with the president. Push-ups with the president. Continues?
Yes, please.
Bolsonaro has recently seen a second half minister leave his government in the space of a few weeks. Nelson Take resigned on Friday. Having been at odds with Bolsonaro over his handling of the coronavirus crisis and Bolsonaro's desire to use hydrochloroquine as a possible
treatment for COVID-19.
Hydroxy. No, this is a big one.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine. Okay.
Yes. Any question about this part or no?
Odds.
Yes, odds.
At odds, at fights, at battles. Okay.
Okay.
He was in constant disagreement with Bolsonaro. Okay, and the latest one was when Bolsonaro wanted to force him to adopt the use of hydroxychloroquine, and he decided, no, I'm not going to ruin my image. So he resigned it on Friday. Okay. Marcos, can you finish this, please? Take had been appointed.
Take had been appointed about a month earlier to replace Luiz Henrique Mandetta, whom Bolsonaro fired after a long standoff between the two men. Bolsonaro had refused to support social distance measures which Mandetta recommended.
recommended?
CNN, Sasha,
Shasta Darlington.
thank you. Shasta Darlington reported from São Paulo. Vasco Cotovio and Roberta Pichetta report from London.
Very good. Any question about this last part or no?
No.
Okay, so practically we have finished the headline of today's CNN newspaper, okay? And tomorrow I'm going to introduce a new article, and I'd like just to ask you some personal questions concerning the restrictions or social distancing that your local government has implemented in your area, okay? Thank you all for watching my class. I hope to see you tomorrow here at the same time. And remember, all the classes have been extended to the end of this month. So for sure, we have classes for 2 more weeks, okay?
Ooh, this is really
Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you guys for the musical
Thank you. Have a good night.
classes. Good night.
Now, the music we remember, we just need to get the voice to sing them, okay?
Yes, yes, amazing.
I need
All right.
the voice, and I will turn my chair for you guys.
Okay, that
Thank
was
you.
too much for today. Okay, I'm overwhelmed. All right. Bye-bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Yeah.